Let us pray. Father Yahuwah, we thank thee again for another beautiful day. This is the day that thou hast made, and we are glad, we rejoice in thee, Father. Help us to receive of thee thy wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and thy correction, thy reproof, by the Spirit of Yahushua HaMashiach. Allow us to be covered by the blood of Yahushua, and washed clean by thy word, that we may be worthy of thy presence, to grow after thee, to mature unto thy image, Father. Allow thy Spirit in Yahushua HaMashiach to guide us and lead us. In Yahushua's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Today is the 8th day of 10th lunation, Sabbath day, and we are continuing our Sabbath day Bible study in the book of Proverbs chapter 15. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger.
The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness.
The eyes of Yahuwah are in every place, beholding the evil and the good.
A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit.
A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent.
In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 7. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so.
The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to Yahuwah, but the prayer of the upright is his delight.
The way of the wicked is an abomination unto Yahuwah, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness.
Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die.
Hell and destruction are before Yahuwah, how much more than the hearts of the children of men.
A scorner loveth not one that reproveth him, neither will he go in unto the wise.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 13. A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken.
The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness.
All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of a merry heart hath a continual feast.
Better is little with the fear of Yahuwah than great treasure and trouble therewith.
Verse 17.
Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith.
A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger pleaseth strife.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 19. The way of the slothful man is as an hedge of thorns, but the way of the righteous is made plain.
A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish man despiseth his mother.
Folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly.
Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors they are established.
A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season. How good is it!
The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 25. Yahuwah will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow.
The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to Yahuwah, but the words of the pure are unpleasant words.
Pure
are
are
pleasant words.
He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live.
The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things.
Yahuwah is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous.
The light of the eyes rejoiceth the heart, and a good report maketh the bones fat.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 31. The ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among the wise.
He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding.
The fear of Yahuwah is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility.
Proverbs 15 verse 1, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. It is very common thing these days where the political dispersion or disparity between one side to another has become so deeply divided that angry words against each other, cursing and screaming, is a common thing to see. Yahuwah's people should not engage in that kind of activity unless you want to stir up anger. There are times that anger is called for the righteous reason, Yahuwah's people, but it's never about other people. Anger should be toward, in righteousness, toward the sin, toward the ways of this world, toward Satan's ploy and his games, his schemes that he plays, things like that. It's never about a man or woman or another human being or even another living things like cats and dogs. You should never be angry at things like that because Yahushua never did. And Yahuwah never does that. Okay? Some people say, oh, I'm not mad at you, I'm just mad at the situation. Well, even the situation, if the anger stems from your frustration because you wanted the situation to be a certain way and it didn't turn out the way you wanted, that's not the righteous reason to be angry. If you are angry at a situation because you see the ways of this world, the devilish way, the sinful nature rearing its ugly head, yeah, you should be angry. Even so, you watch your words. You don't curse at other people. You don't say nasty things to other people. Okay? And you will see that happening a lot. So what happens is the people who march down the street, politically or any kind of reason, and they are demanding something, yet when they scream at other opponents, they actually undermine their own position. Okay? If they are actually doing something that was meant to happen, then they shouldn't have to curse and scream and yell. Okay? Verse 2, the tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of the fools poureth out foolishness. So foolishness includes something that comes out of the mouth of fool, includes cursing, F this, S this, right? All these angry, loud voices. It includes that. Verse 3, the eyes of Yahuwah are on every place, beholding the evil and the good. Well, if you're a child of Yahuwah, you'll be doing the same thing. In a less capacity, of course, right? You do not have a full maturity of Yahushua yet. But if Father Yahuwah is your father, whatever your father does, like father, like son, you have that pattern. So instead of meddling with the evil and good, whatever the definition of evil and good is, you'll be watching. Okay? So it's not about leftist or conservative, right? Liberal or conservative. It's not about that. It's not about pro-Trump or opposite Trump. It's not about supporting Hillary against supporting Trump or whatever. It's not about that for a child of Yahuwah. Verse 4. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. Well, you remember what perversion is. Perversion is something that starts with something, right? A, and that it becomes something else other than A. That's what perversion is. It's rotten apple. It starts as a apple. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a rotten apple, right? If you start with the mug, ceramic mug, I don't care how long you wait, it'll never turn into a rotten apple, right? So the perversion is something that used to be wholesome, genuine, and it has rotten away. Okay? So the perverseness there is in the breach in the spirit means there is no more the truth. But they speak something as truth, but it is perverted. The only way to know that it is perverted is to know the actual truth itself. Otherwise, people will think that perverted truth is the truth. Verse 5, a fool despises his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. This is one of the easiest litmus tests for a child of Yahuwah. True child of Yahuwah honors, enjoys, appreciates correction from anyone and everyone. Anyone and everyone. People would think that, oh, if you have somebody who's wiser than you, then that person can correct you. But if somebody who's foolish than you, why should you listen? You have no idea how much we could learn from Tilly the cat. You understand? You could learn much about truth watching trees or plants or how the brook or stream flows down. Okay? They all give you instruction and correction. It has been said in Chinese proverb, the ancient Confucius and other wise men of Asia, that wise learns much more from fool than fool could ever learn from wise. Right? So the correction is not just about somebody who's superior to you telling you what to do. You could learn, you could be corrected from every facet. So a fool despises his father's instruction. Of all people, a father should be most qualified to tell his son what is wrong with what he's doing, what the son is doing. Yet the fool despised even that. So how much less will a fool ever learn from dog walking by, or leaves falling from the tree, or stream of river flowing down? Then they're not gonna care, right? But he that regardeth reproof is prudent. We could be reproved in many different ways, and you should welcome this. Regard means to value it. Regard, you value the reproof. A couple days ago, we had a conversation, and you guys were concerned. I could tell that some of you are concerned that, if I tell you about something that I think you should, change, you're gonna get upset and angry. Well, maybe before. Thankfully, Yahushua has been working on me for quite some time, and in Mommy's word, Daddy's gotten mellow, right? I appreciate correction. I regard reproof, value, because there are things that I cannot see, which it would be obvious to you. Then please tell me what could be done better, right? Verse 6, in the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. Yeah, revenues wicked is trouble. In the revenues of the wicked is trouble. It doesn't say the revenues of wicked is trouble. Well, if that was the case, the wicked would never try to bring any revenue, because the more revenue it comes in, the more trouble it ends up with, right? Bible doesn't tell you that. Bible tells you in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. So the more revenue that they bring, along with the money and pleasure and benefits that they get, comes trouble. They don't know which is which. They cannot tell, okay, this is good part, so let's keep that, but I could see trouble part, so pull that out. They can't do that. They cannot tell them apart. Let me read verse 6 again. In the house of the righteous is much treasure. Much treasure. What's absent? Trouble is absent. But in the revenues, plural, revenues, there's a bunch of coming in. profit, income coming in. But along with that benefit, in it is trouble. So I ask you, if you're righteous, what would you rather have? $100 with no trouble versus $1,000 with the trouble in it. Which would be a better deal for you? Another way of saying the same thing is, what would you rather have? A cup of clean, fresh, refreshing, clean water to drink, or swimming pool worth of, right, mockery? People will think that, oh, at least we got swimming pool worth of water. Yeah, but you don't know which part will kill you. Embedded in that large amount of whatever you are seeking for is something that will cause trouble. Yahuwah does not prevent or forbid his children from becoming wealthy. In fact, Bible tells you in no uncertain term, Yahuwah wants you to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. But he wants you to be that way minus the trouble. Right? Sorrow. How much better would it be for you to be all better off and nothing but Yahuwah's goodness? That's what he wants you to be. Verse 7. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. Verse 8. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to Yahuwah, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. Well, this again, you should know by now, when people quote unquote pray to God, how come nothing ever happens? Well, because the Bible tells you Yahuwah doesn't care about the sacrifice of the wicked. He listens to the prayers of the upright because it's his delight. But he has no obligation. He never said he's going to listen to the prayers of the wicked. And then say, oh, I prayed about it and nothing ever happens. Of course. Why would you be surprised? Verse 9, the way of the wicked is an abomination unto Yahuwah, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. Righteousness is the character of Yahuwah. That's who he is. Verse 10, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Thankfully, I am glad that you guys took the time to tell me about how you felt. I hope you do more of that. I'm not going to reprimand you or talk down to you or things like that, because if I did that, then I'm going to die. Right? Do you understand? In the beginning, when there's a lot more of your carnal nature compared to in strength-wise, and you have a very tiny amount of power because you are a newborn baby in Yahushua HaMashiach, yes, this carnal nature can overtake your life and get angry when somebody tries to correct you, tries to tell you that you are wrong. But later on, as you walk closer with Yahushua for some time, you begin to realize when people say that I'm wrong, that's like saying that you are who you are. Of course I'm wrong. That's who I am. That's my carnal nature. I'm always wrong. It's just that before I didn't know about that. I have no idea what's going to happen 5 minutes from now, tomorrow, right? I cannot possibly know. Which means what I thought was a good idea and I did it 10 years ago had no basis of truth whatsoever. So how could I expect to be right? Everything that I've done in my lifetime was based on assumption, presumption. not bearing any resemblance to truth. So how could I ever be right? It is by the mercy and grace, His kindness, Yahuwah's kindness, that we are all here. None of us deserve to be here. So when someone tells me I'm wrong, well, take a number, because I got a million things that are wrong. I appreciate you telling me that I'm doing something wrong. Now can you tell me how to do it right? Again, verse 10, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. So he that loveth reproof shall live. And to the person who is, this is what humility is all about, meekness, to be corrected. Verse 11, hell and destruction are before Yahuwah, how much more than the hearts of the children of man? That's a rhetorical question, right? Hearts of children of man are the most abominable thing under heaven. Hell and destruction is the place that Yahuwah specifically made for Satan. And that's where, unfortunately, sadly, hearts of man gonna have to go. Verse 12, a scorner loveth not one that reproveth him. This is why it took me 10 years to learn the lesson not to talk to people who don't want to hear Yahuwah's words. Neither will he go unto the wise. They don't want anything to do with the wisdom. Verse 13 is a kind of a common, very popular verse. A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrows of heart the spirit is broken. This can only be properly understood if you understand the correction or repentance. A merry heart is repenting heart. A merry heart is a heart that invites correction. A sorrow heart is a heart that hates reproof, hates to repent. Verse 14, the heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. How can you seek knowledge unless you confess that you are not knowledgeable? You don't have wisdom, right? You don't know. You have to admit to that fact first in order to seek knowledge. Verse 15, all the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of a merry heart hath continual feast. That's the same merry heart as verse 13, one that invites correction. Please tell me, what can I do better? So this is opposite of pride, right? How dare you tell me about this? I'm going to be upset and angry. I did all those things for you. Now you're saying that blah, 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 right? That's how the conflict begins. If any one of the party says, thank you for raising that awareness. I knew my own shortcoming, but I didn't know what to try. See, in your side it was kind of wrong too. It was wrong, right? I agree. So I thank you for bringing that to my attention. Can you help me to correct that? If one party accepts that, how can there be an argument? So it becomes a continual feast. And besides, when weakness or wrongfulness is discussed, it's always about your firstborn. It's not really about you. A child of Yahuwah living in your body and mind can never be wrong. Right? So why would you be upset? Well, I guess people do take it personally. When, let's say, a dog owner walking the dog, right? Walking the dog, and somebody approach him and say, hey, is that your dog? Yeah. Boy, he's an ugly dog, isn't he? Right? Then I guess some dog owner will say, how dare you? That's my dog. He's the most beautiful dog in the world. that dog and I are one, we are one body. Usually if a person says that's an ugly dog, you could say, yeah, I agree, it's an ugly dog, isn't it? But he's so ugly, he's almost cute, right? You could laugh about dog. It's not you. But people take it personally, right? If someone came to my house here and raised the objection, how come your cat Tilly is so lazy? She sleeps like 20 hours a day. Eats, goes bathroom, play for a little bit, and then she sleeps 4 or 5 hours. And when she wakes up, she eats and play a little bit, and then goes to sleep again, right? Boy, that's terrible, isn't it? Well, what am I going to say? Get angry? No, I have to agree. You're right. But that's what cats do. They sleep most of the day. And when they are prowling around, they either want to play or go to bathroom or eat, right? That's about it. Yeah, isn't that wasteful? But that's what the cats do. Don't take correction personally. If we didn't have anything to be corrected, we wouldn't be here. Now again, if some people take it personally and get angry, oh, how dare you tell me, well, you hurt my feeling, right? I understand. Because I was like that too. I thought this body and mind is me. Like thinking that this clothes is me, right? I just hope that more people receive a merry heart, repenting, accepting correction, joyfully heart. That's what merry heart is. Then you could have a continual feast. Every day is a party. Verse 16, better is little with the fear of Yahuwah than great treasure and trouble therewith. Well, that goes with the verse 6, trouble, same word. Verse 6 says, in the house of righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. Verse 16 says, better is little with the fear of Yahuwah than great treasures and trouble therewith. Of course, people will say, yeah, but at least even with the trouble, I get to do what I want. Okay, if that's your cup of tea, go for it. But I'd rather listen to the correction of Yahuwah in His Word. Verse 17, better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stored ox and hatred therewith. When Korea was relatively poor, a generation or two ago, it would have been unheard of a man walking down the street getting attacked by a total stranger and stabbed to death out of nothing, out of no surprise, like out of blue. Just because the other person got upset and angry because he took offense at the way he looked at him, the way he said something to him. Yes, Korea has gotten much, much wealthier in the last about 40 years. But when I was a young boy running through the countryside of Korea in early 80s and late 70s, you would never hear stories like that. A man was playing video game in PC bang, right? Korea has a lot of PC rooms, personal computer rooms, where people could come in and pay a few dollars and use their like state-of-art computer and sit in cushy chair and play video games or check the email or whatever, right? And one customer was using PC bang, and one of the person who works there somehow got in trouble with the customer. customer got angry. And the guy who was working there, young man, working part-time, bringing beverages and cleaning little stuff. He was going home after his shift. PC Bang runs 24 hours actually. They never close. After his shift, he was going home. He was coming down from elevator, and that disgruntled customer approached him, and he didn't think anything about it. And the whole thing was captured in closed-circuit TV. This disgruntled customer held a grudge against the worker. He waited for his shift to be over. As he came down from elevator, he stabbed him with a knife from the back and killed him. The autopsy showed by the experts who do know those things, right? That the medical doctors, this man really intended to kill that worker, because the only time that the knife stopped was when it hit the bone. He stabbed the knife so deep with the hatred. Okay? The only time it didn't go all the way through was because there was a bone touching the tip of the knife. The perpetrator, of course, got captured. Everything was on closed-circuit TV. And people were shocked. Wait a minute, what made you possess? Have you seen this man before? No, never met the guy before. What could possibly the person who works at PC방 make you so angry that you will wait around hours until he gets up his shift, and then you stab him in cold blood to death? What will possess you? But incidents like that is happening more and more commonplace. Again, better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stored ox and hatred therewith. You think Yahuwah's word is just cute sayings? No. That PC방 part-time worker, I don't know whether he was a college student or fresh out of college. He was a young man, 22, 23 old, working for minimum wage. The perpetrator was not that much older either. The entire society is bubbling with hatred. Well, in this country, there are things called road rage, right? A fellow driver just drives by and somehow cuts another driver, and he blows over, right? Follows after the guy and shoots him. Are we to expect more of these degradation and perversion to take place? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. How can you be so sure? Because fools despise their father's instruction. They disregard, they do not value Yahuwah's way. There is no honor from one generation to another. Verse 18. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. I hope I set at least a little bit of example. How to appease strife. Don't be afraid to speak to daddy, thinking that, oh, this is going to make him boiling mad. Not unless you sin. Telling me something I did wrong is not going to make me angry, because I know I'm full of wrong things. But if you neglected the ways of Yahuwah, I'll be sad and I'll be angry. Not at you, but how it is taking place. Verse 19, the way of the slothful man is as an hedge of thorns, but the way of righteous is made plain. So now, Yahuwah change your gear a little bit. Instead of calling this person foolish, he calls him slothful. They are one in the same person. Angry, foolish, slothful, lazy. And whichever direction he goes, this person, this foolish man, who is also slothful, it's a hedge of thorn. It's like poking him everywhere. So that man was the perpetrator who killed that young PC Bang worker, got captured by police, and they begin to do investigation. What was the motivation? What was the cause? You've never met the man before, and they couldn't figure out. But they're beginning to see patterns. This man was full of hatred, not against anyone particular, but against little things. He was angry at everybody else for his misfortune, the way he looked at himself. It's the society's fault that I'm not happy. Right? And all that piled up anger and hatred just happens to be routed to this man, this person who happens to trigger. He didn't treat me with the respect. He didn't call me, sir, here you go, sir, thank you very much, oh, your highness. Ooh. He didn't coddle the man like I wanted to be treated, that I deserve to be treated. You understand? So his defense is, oh, I was temporarily insane. Sadly for Korean society, defense like that oftentimes work. They get up scot-free. The man kills another man and they are on parole after just several years, couple years of prison sentence. Released into society to repeat the whole thing all over again. And they do that saying that, oh, at least that protects the human right of the perpetrator. They never talk about human right of the victim. But the way of the righteous is made plain. There's no trouble, no poking, no thorns. Verse 20, a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish man despiseth his mother. People often think that wise son is one who never makes mistake. One who is smart and wise, figure out everything. Not true. A wise son here is one who receives the correction, who constantly get corrected from his mistake, his wrong things, and he constantly improves, gets better and better. That's the wise son. Don't ever think that, oh, I don't know how to do it. That's okay. Learn to do it now, today. Take the time to do what is right today. As long as you do that, you qualify. You are one of the wise sons. The foolish man despises his mother. Just like that man who killed that PC Bang worker. This foolish man despises his mother because in his eyes, it's all mother's fault. Why did you make me born into this crummy household? The whole thing about the golden spoon and clay spoon, that argument. If I had been born into a rich family, I would have had a different life. So it's the fault of my parents. Oh yeah, people actually believe that. So they despise their mother. Folly is, verse 21, folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly. That is folly. Blaming everything on everybody else except himself. But what about people who blame themselves and commit suicide? No, that's another form of perversion. If you know that you are wrong, you have to have responsibility to make the amend and do what is right. Saying that, oh, it's all my fault. Oh, no, it's not my mother's fault. It's not my father's fault. It's not society's fault. It's my fault, so I'm going to blow myself up. That's not the solution either. Remember, perversion always takes one extreme or another. Okay? Self-pity done wrong way will destroy you. That's how Hillbilly shot himself. Right? He hated himself so much he killed himself. That's not what Yahuwah is talking about. You have to live up to the truth that it's your nature that has committed all these things. Therefore, you need to deny yourself and follow Yahuwah's way. That's the right way. Not just feeling self-pity. That's what Judas Iscariot did. Right? After he sold Yahushua HaMashiach for 30 pieces of silver, he remorsed, right? He regretted. He felt sorry for himself. He got angry at himself. So what does he do? He throws that 30 pieces of silver onto the temple ground, and he gets a strong rope and he hangs himself. That's foolishness. That's why folly is joy to him. Hanging himself was a folly. Folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly. Judas Iscariot could have been saved if he would have just repented and followed after Yahushua. Yahushua would have gladly forgiven him. But no. He loves folly. Verse 22. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. One of the strongest way to have multitude of counselors is to have three-folded cord, living arrangement. Your parents, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, later on, your children, and your cousins' children, your uncle's grandchildren, all being there for you. Now, of course, you have to have a unity of heart. If you don't have a unity of heart, it'll be nothing more than just a hotel room or dormitory in college campus, right? Or prison. Roommates. Yahuwah's threefold cord is none of those things. In the multitude of counselors, they are established. So I'm thankful that 4 of you become my counselor. That's how it's supposed to take place. And when you get married and have your children, they too gonna be my counselor too. They'll be able to see about their grandfather that I could never see on my own. And they'll be able to tell me, "Hi, Grandpa, why you do what you do? You know, that's not really good idea. You know that, right?" "Oh, thank you, little Jimmy. You're only 6 years old, but you know, in this aspect, you could see better than I did all my life. Thank you. Help me correct that." I will. I'll remind you. In the multitude of counselors they are established. Verse 23, a man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season. How good is it? Yes, in due season. When there is hearing ear to hear. Do not waste Yahuwah's word on pigs and dogs and cats, right? Leave them alone. They are content being what they are. Verse 24, the way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. Yes, you want to depart from hell beneath. You can correct them. There's going to be more and more of these senseless killings. Our American equivalent is all these mass shootings, right? What did they ever do to the perpetrator? When that man checked into that hotel room in Las Vegas and started shooting his machine guns, his assault rifles at these people who were watching music concert, 15,000 people, just randomly shooting at them. Did he possibly know these victims? Of course not. How could he? Why? What made him so crazy and angry, upset that he's shooting at these random people? Well, it is the nature of hell beneath. The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. First of all, unless Yahushua explicitly led me to a place like that, I shall never be found among 15,000 people in a city like Las Vegas. Or 15,000 people anywhere. I dwell among my people. I dwell among those counselors. People that I know and people that know me. The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. You can't have it both ways. You mingle with the ways of hell beneath, you're going to get trouble. Verse 25, Yahuwah will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow. Widow is a person who knows she is weak. She is a person who has nobody to depend on. That's a picture of widow, orphan and widow. Can you imagine proud widow? Can you imagine loud and contentious widow? Hardly, right? Because she has no husband. She has nobody to depend on. So this widow is a picture of someone who knows his or her own iniquity, shortcoming, and wickedness before Yahuwah. And Yahuwah is going to establish the border of the widow. When you humble yourself, Yahuwah is going to lift you up. But when you're proud, you're on your own. And you have to contend with guys like who shoot out from the hotel room window, or somebody who lurk behind the corner of the hallway to attack somebody coming out from the elevator door. Take your pick. If you want to contend with the ways of hell beneath, you behave certain way. If you want to walk above and depart from the hell beneath, your behavior has to be certain way. And they are diametrically opposed. You can't have it both ways. Verse 26, the thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to Yahuwah, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. Pleasant to Yahuwah. Thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to Yahuwah. This is why when wicked pray, Yahuwah, he can't stand it. And wicked can pray too. They could pretend that they are victim too. but it is abomination to Yahuwah. Verse 27 also goes with verse 6 and 16 that we looked at, right? Verse 6, in the house of righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. 16, better is little with the fear of Yahuwah than great treasures and trouble therewith. So verse 27 says, he that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live. Gifts is something that people give you. Oh, no cost to you. There is no such thing. Only gift that is no cost to us come from above. Yahuwah gives us gift that can never be repaid by us. Okay? No cost to us. Every other gifts from man to man in this world they all come with the strings. Oftentimes it's not visible in the front, but it becomes obligation. It snares your neck. Let me give you an illustration. Among friends, a friend might say, oh, my treat. Okay, we're going to have a meal here in the restaurant and drink. Good time, have a good time. It's on me. Is that a really gift with no strings? What do you think? No, after a few times, they're going to look at you. Hey, it's about your time to foot the bill. It becomes obligation. Do not be greedy of free things. Always seek Yahuwah's way. He's going to give you whatever you really need. Do not cause trouble in your own house. Verse 28. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things, because it comes out from his own heart. He doesn't have to wait. It comes straight out. But the righteous takes time. Let me pray. Let me wait upon my Adonai, Yahushua. Let's see what he has to say, because I don't know what to tell you. Verse 29, Yahuwah is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous. Now, if you need any other confirmation that not all prayers are equal, right? Pray to God. God's going to listen to your prayer. Well, if you are a righteous man, sure, he's going to listen to your prayer. But if you happen to be proud, you think you already have everything set, you think you are already a child of Yahuwah doing your own thing, never listening to Yahuwah's way, then he has no business listening to your prayer. He tells you. Yet people always say, oh, pray, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you. No, prayer of righteous, faithful man availeth much, but not the wicked. Verse 30, the light of the eyes rejoiceth the heart, and a good report maketh the bones fat. The good report is a report that's coming from a far country, kingdom of heaven. The light of the eyes. What is the light of the eyes? The light of life, Yahuwah's presence, his wisdom and knowledge. Verse 31, the ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among the wise. Those who have a hearing ear to hear the reproof of the wise, or the reproof of life. Yahuwah's reproof. Verse 32, he that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. Yahuwah keeps on mentioning about reproof, correction in this chapter, because that is one of the easiest, one of the quickest way to tell who might be child of Yahuwah from those who are ways of this world. People who get easily offended when their mistakes are brought to bear. They yell and scream, right? Or they try to obfuscate, they try to lie and cover it up, right? Watch out. They probably are not Yahuwah's people. Verse 33, the fear of Yahuwah is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Humility before honor. to say that thank you very much for bringing to my attention my shortcoming. Please help me together. Pray up for me that I may take the right step to walk in righteousness. Humility. It has nothing to do with being what? Being cowardice. No, in order to be humble, you have to be courageous. You have to stand up to the truth. Stand up on the truth, right? Not roll behind and hide behind something. You have to admit, you have to stand to the fact that yes, I'm an imperfect being. And I thank you for bringing my imperfection to my attention. See, I didn't even see that before. And I thank you for caring enough to bring it to me so I may be a better person. Before honor is humility. I hope and pray that you guys exercise what Yahuwah is teaching you here every day. So that means in the household of Yahuwah, can there be argument? Sure, there could be. There could be argument. But can there be argument of yelling and screaming and hurting of feeling? What do you think? There shouldn't be. No. Did you guys have your feelings hurt because you are trying to tell me what I did wrong? I hope not. I hope your feelings will not hurt, because I will never mean to hurt you when you are trying to bring it to my attention what I'm doing wrong, what I was doing wrong. And that's the lesson that we are trying to teach each other, mom and dad. Mommy hopefully is getting that lesson. I never intend to hurt her, to correct her, vice versa. And when my wife brings me a situation where I need to be corrected, I want to be grateful, thankful for it. I never want to sound like I'm angry. So let's practice that, because Bible is talking about that, right? Any questions or comments? Okay, let us pray. Father Yahuwah, we thank Thee again for Thy loving kindness and Thy truth, Thy mercy and grace, Father, Thy righteousness and all Thy beauty. Allow us to come before Thee and receive of Thee Thy goodness without the trouble, Father. All good gifts come from Thee, and there is no sorrow added. Help us to rejoice in Thy ways as a continual feast, dwelling with Thee in Yahushua HaMashiach, receiving of Thee our bread and our drink every day. Continual feast, that we may continue to grow, mature, and become more and more like unto Thee, and less like ourselves and the ways of this world, which is the hell beneath. Let us rise above through Thy wisdom, Father, that we may obtain Thy likeness. In Yahushua's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.